Hello students, this is Neeta Biju. Welcome again to another class of business studies. In our last class, we started with the third chapter, that is business environment. We finished with the meaning, concept and features of business environment. In today's class, we'll be studying about the importance of business environment. So when we are talking about the business environment, our business belongs to a society. So business enterprises do not exist in isolation. Each business firm exists and survives and grows within the forces of its environment. So, proper understanding and awareness about the business environment will help the managers to identify, evaluate, and analyze the forces in the environment and act accordingly. So, when we are talking about the importance of business environment, it's very important for the business managers to study and to analyze and to scan the whole environment that has influence on the working and performance of the business. And that is why we have to study why is it so important and why is it so necessary, why it is so relevant to understand and to be aware about the business environment on the whole, because it will help the managers to identify, evaluate and analyze all the factors in the environment and act accordingly, make policies and formulate plans accordingly. So that is why business environment plays a very important role here. So the importance of business environment, it can be studied under the following points. The first one is it enables the firm to identify opportunities and getting the first mover advantage. The second one, it helps the firm to identify threats and early warning signals. And the third one, it helps in tapping useful resources. The fourth one, it helps in coping with rapid changes. The fifth one, it helps in planning and policy formulation. And the sixth one, it helps in improving the performance. So these are the 6 points of importance of business environment and why is it so important for a business enterprise to study and analyze and identify the environment. So we'll study the first one, and it enables the importance of business environment. The first one, it enables the firm to identify opportunities and getting the first mover advantage. Opportunities refers to the positive changes that will help the business firm to improve its performance. Identify the opportunities well in advance before the competitors will help the business to be successful. So business environment, by scanning business environment, by studying the business environment, by knowing and being aware what is happening around well in advance before the competitors or any rival company snatches the opportunity, any business enterprise should know to grab the opportunity at the right time. For this, the study and analysis of business environment is very important. In order to remain successful and competitive in the market, every business enterprise should identify the future opportunities, that is well in advance, so that they will walk ahead of the competitors and rival companies. The best example here is Maruti Udyog, which became the first company or enterprise to recognize the need for small cars for the middle class population in India. So this was a pioneer. This company, Maruti Udyog, identified well in advance before any other competitors could identify, before any other rival companies or car dealers could identify. Maruti Udyog became the first one to grab the opportunity and manufacture small cars in order to meet the demand of the middle class population in India. The next importance of business environment is it helps the firm to identify the threats and early warning signals. Threats refers to the external changes in the environment that may hinder a firm's performance. So environmental studies will help the managers to identify the threats on time, and it will serve as warning signals and will help the business to remain competitive in the market. So threats, of course, in the environment there are not only opportunities, that is positive things, there are also adverse and negative things, and that is what is called as the threats. Threats are nothing but dangers. So in the environment, if a business enterprise will scan and study and analyze the environment, and if at all the enterprise identifies the threats or dangers or has the warning signals, then it can be well in advance prepared to face this threat. That is the meaning of this importance or relevance of business environment. For example, warning signals like a multinational company is entering the Indian market, then Indian firms can prepare themselves to meet the threat by improving the quality of the product, by increasing or by aggressive advertising, etc. So if at all you are getting the warning signals that, or you have got the indication, or you have got this threat that one very famous and popular multinational company is entering into Indian market, so Indian firms, the business enterprise should prepare itself to meet the threat, that is boldly, by making improvement in the quality of the product and by aggressive advertising. So this is what is, it helps the firm to identify the threats and early warning signals. Well in advance, it will be prepared to face the danger. The next importance is it helps in tapping useful resources. When we are talking about tapping here, it's nothing but give and take system, because business is a part of the society. It takes input from the society and it gives output to the society. So it is interdependent. A business enterprise assembles various inputs like finance, machines, raw materials, power, water, labor, etc. from its environment, and it supplies its output to the environment in return, such as goods and services, payment of taxes to the government, etc. Therefore, the enterprise should design plans and formulate policies that allows it to get the resources that it needs, and it can be done only by understanding what the environment has to offer. So what is really useful for the production, or what is really useful to the business, is understood by the business enterprise, and whether it is there available in the environment or not is studied, and this is how give and take system takes place. The business takes the input and gives back the output to the society. So it helps in finding out and understanding what is the actual requirement of the business enterprise and what is actually available as resources from which sources of the environment. So this is what is called as helps in tapping useful resources. Whatever is required is identified and then taken from the society, whatever environment has to offer to it. The next relevance or importance is it helps in coping with rapid changes. So as you have already studied in the previous classes, business is dynamic, ever changing, management is dynamic, ever changing, and its ever changing nature, and especially these days, today's business environment is with more demanding customers, fast changes that takes place in the technology, and growing competition. Therefore every business has to cope with the changing environment. It becomes very necessary for the business managers to understand, analyze the environment in order to adapt to the changing environment. So whatever changes that takes place in the external environment, it may be economic changes, it can be political changes, it can be legal changes, it can be very rapidly what takes place these days is the technological changes. All these changes can be adapted, can be accepted, and businessmen can make changes in the formulation of rules and plans and policies accordingly in order to meet the changing demand of the environment. So this is what, according to the changes that takes place in the environment, business enterprise will try to cope up, will try to adapt, will try to adjust according to the rapid changes that are taking place in the environment. This is possible only when a business enterprise studies and understands the environmental changes. The next importance is it helps in assisting in planning and policy formulation. So business environment is a source of opportunities and threats, as we have already studied. Business environment is full of positive things as well as adverse things. Positive things are opportunities, threats are dangers, for which every business enterprise has to be prepared. So it helps the business managers to decide the future course of action by planning and policy formulation, to deal according to the situations in order to remain competitive in the market. So business environment, a thorough study of business environment, it may be of the positive things or it may be of the adverse things. It may be about opportunities or it may be about threats. Whatsoever, a business enterprise will study and will identify and will, if required, will also make changes in their plans and formulate policies accordingly so that it can meet the changing situations in order to remain strong and survive in this competitive market. The next one, it helps in improving performance. The business enterprises that understands and analyzes the environment and adopt suitable measures can improve the performance of the business and succeed in a long run. Therefore, understanding the business environment is very important for the business managers. So this is again a very, you can say, general point. It is of course very obvious if you know what is happening around you, if you know and if you have studied thoroughly what is the environment around you, what are the changes going to take place around you, and if at all you are ready to accept and adapt to the suitable changes, then this is what is going to happen to your business. That is nothing but it improves the performance and you will succeed in the long run. So every business manager has to study, analyze, scan the environment and act accordingly and take measures to improve the performance of the business in order to remain successful in the long run. This is all for today's class, dear students. I hope you have understood. This was all about the relevance and importance of business environment to the business enterprise. Thank you.